All right, welcome to Old World Gaming. If you've seen an episode I put up a couple of days ago, I have received my movement trays from warbases.com. I've had a bit of time to have a bit of practice with the movement trays, and I have put a whole bunch together for my Night Goblins. So they've come out really well. I'm really pleased with them, and I thought I'd show you how I went about it. So that's what this episode is. So they come off, or they come from warbases.co.uk, and they come in parts like this. So you've got the top bit. Now I've gone for, you can get them in different sizes. I've ordered 3mm because 3mm is the same size as a Games Workshop base. So they'll fit nice and snug in there. This black one, and that fits nice and flush. If I hold him kind of sideways, you can see it doesn't kind of come above. So that's what I've gone for. But like I said, they come in different sizes, I guess, for other companies to do different depths. But 3mm is the Games Workshop one. So if you're wondering, that's what you need. So basically, you get them like this, and you just need to whack some PVA on here, and then stick it down basically. And then I use a heavy book to just kind of hold it in place while it glues. So I've ordered, at the moment, I have got 3 5x4s, which is basically the 20-man units. So you saw my archers on those. I've ordered some of these as well. Obviously you can see them here, and some 1x5. So they're all in kind of like 5s at the moment. I don't really know what size units they're going to end up as. I have a feeling I might have some that are like 7 wide, maybe 8 wide, but I don't really know. And maybe the harder hitting stuff. I think my my chaff units, like the Night Goblins, are going to end up 5x5, so I can get my full ranks with a bit of spare, because you can get 3 rank bonus with the horde rule. Your average unit just gets 2 rank bonus, but having horde lets you claim an extra rank bonus. So that means I can have 3 ranks, and then 1 additional rank at the end for like if I get shot or something and lose a few casualties. That way, by the time I get into combat, I should have my full ranks still. So 5 wide is what you need for normal infantry to gain a rank bonus. You only need 4 wide for heavy infantry. So maybe like your average heavy infantry can only get 2 ranks anyway, so you might end up with 4x4 blocks, so you can take a couple of casualties and still get your rank bonus. Or you might end up, you could even run like units of 4x3, so run them in 12s. Right, so I'm going to stick a book on that and let that set. It's going over there. Okay, so this next one then, it's a bit like Blue Peter. Here's one I glued earlier. I am going to show you how to put the sand on. So this is just builder's sand that I literally got out of a bag of builder's sand yesterday, because I needed a bit of a replenishing. What I quite like about this actually is it's got lots of different sized bits in it, so that makes it look a little bit interesting on the base. So yeah, so this is just a case of PVA all around the edges and dunk it in the sand. But yeah, so I'm not sure. Most of my, my primary armies, to start off with, it's going to be goblins. Mainly goblins. I don't think I'll have many orcs. I might do some orcs. I remember I said in a video not too long ago, I was probably going to do orcs next. I don't know if that's true. I'll probably do some orcs just because I know orcs are coming out soon. It'd be good to have a bit of a painting guide on how to batch paint orcs. So I will probably do that because some people might find that helpful. However, I think what I might do, well, what I'm definitely going to do next is batch paint a unit of spearmen. So my grin crack model I've just done, I want a unit of like bodyguard spearmen with the purple hoods and a purple banner. So I'll be doing that because my unit I've got at the moment is has kind of got a red theme on it, and that is for this guy. He's going to be my kind of red big boss. Basically the plan that I'm going to have with the theme I'm going for my Goblin War eventually is that it's made up of a whole little bunch of war bands. So like each unit and its boss is like a crew, and they have a big boss that they've swear allegiance sounds a bit posh for goblins, but you know what I mean. The big boss who they look up to and they work for, his kind of little war band, if you like, which will have a few kind of different units that share their colour. So I'll have an archer unit with a bit of a red theme to them, a spearman unit with a red theme to them. I don't know, like some squig hoppers or something with a bit of a red theme. And when I say red theme, it's like the boss of that unit wears like a red hood and the banner's red and that kind of thing. And then the same, so then different colours. So like Grin Crack will have a purple war band with purple banner and purple hooded bosses and that kind of thing. And then I think I'll probably do like one with a bit of a this kind of colour white that my shaman's got on his staff. So I might do one, that's kind of a colour I think I'm going for. I've already got some Night Goblins painted up with a bit of a blue theme that I did for Warhammer Quest. I love Warhammer Quest. And so I've painted up enough green skinned bad guys to play Warhammer Quest with. And they've got a blue theme on it. So if I did want to make my war bigger, I've already got those guys. So yeah, I think purple, red, maybe white, and I don't know if I need any more. That's probably enough. But yeah, so that's kind of the angle I'm taking on it. So my next thing is probably going to be a unit of spearmen for Grin Crack's warband. And then it's either I'll either do snotlings or I'll do stone trolls, because I've got a unit of 6 each of the different stone trolls that you used to be able to get, that I remember as a kid I wanted them. I eventually got them, like, I don't know, 15 years ago, and they've just sat never painted. So I figured I'll do a video series painting the stone trolls, and I'll probably get them looking quite similar to the classic Games Workshop ones, and that'll be pretty cool. Okay, so I've got all the glue around this and a paintbrush in my mouth. Just want my voice went funny, so put that down here, because that's not optimum for making a video, having a paintbrush in your mouth. So now obviously I'm just kind of dunking it in the sand, each of the sides, and then I think I'll chuck the sand on here. There you go. Now I've got to try and work out how to pick it up and shake the sand off without smearing the glue everywhere. Just going to give that a bit of a pat to get any loose bits off. Now, I don't know if you can see, but around these edges there's some sand glued. And if that stays there, it will kind of make it a bit lopsided, and also kind of this won't sit flush with whatever surface you're on, and it'll just be scraping sand all the time. So I'm going to gently brush away that sand. I say gently, it doesn't actually need to be particularly gentle. I'm going to use the brush, end of the brush, to kind of scrape that off. But yeah, if you don't do that, it'll just scrape against everything that it touches, basically any surface that it's on. gaming boards. You don't want to be rubbing like sand, essentially sandpaper on your gaming board. So that'll wear out your board quite quickly if you leave that there. It's easier to do when it's wet. You can do it when it's dry, but you're more likely, when it's dry, you're more likely to rip off the sand, because PVA kind of becomes like one peelable piece, and you'll end up kind of like peeling stuff off. Okay, and the other issue that we've got here, as you can see, it's kind of gone over the lip, and that'll mean it's be hard to get the guys in to the slots. And when I say hard, I mean essentially impossible. So we need to get rid of that. I just happen to have, this is a paper clip. I'm not suggesting this is the best tool for the job, but it's just the one that I've got. And so I'm just going to run that around the inside, and you can see kind of like getting, is that in focus? Not particularly. Getting rid of this excess bits around the edge, because otherwise your models won't go in. So just, you see that here? Is that in focus? There we go. So I'm just going to get rid of that. I think it's because my stick's so long. Stick, whatever you want to call it. Paper clip. The reason I've got this paper clip is for pinning metal models, because a lot of mine, I mean, I've still got a whole bunch of metal models, so they need pinning. Something that I will be doing at some point. I don't really know when though, because is a old metal Warhammer Giant, the 6th edition one, but I think I'm probably going to end up leaving him until I decide to do my Savage army, which is like Savage Orcs and Forest Goblins and stuff like that. I did paint Savage Orcs, I don't know, a year or so ago, and I got all my Forest Goblins out with the intention of doing them. Never got around to it. But yeah, my Savage army will mainly be made up of Savage Orcs. I'll look to get some Boar Boys as well, Forest Goblins, Spider Riders. I have got a whole bunch of Forest Goblins from the Spider Riders, and then stuck them on bases like this, and they look like they just, because they're kneeling on top of the spiders, they don't like they're not straddle legged. They actually look all right. So I've got 40 Forest Goblins off of the plastic Spider Riders. So 40 plastic Spider Rider Goblins that are just stuck on bases, so they rank up in units. And so at some point I will do that army. Obviously you got a Ragnaroks, but the Giant, because I think the Giant looks a bit of like a Savage. I think he'll look really good in that army. So that's my plan, is to kind of the intention is to do him so it fits with the army. So there we go. So that's the process to go through, really, or the process that I go through for putting the sand on this. The key things there are making sure you don't have anything overhanging here, because it really does hinder you getting your models in, and taking the excess off the edges so that you don't sand your boards down. So I thought it was worth showing you that as well. So now I'll leave that to dry, and then I'll get that painted up. I'll spray paint that, basically, is what I'll do. So again, in true Blue Peter style, here's what I did earlier. So this has been through that process, glued together obviously, and got the sand on it, and then spray, just Chaos Black spray, and we're ready to go, basically. So this stage, if you've seen any of the other videos where I've done a base, so I did Grin Crack the other day, so this is the same process. This is Rhinox Hide, followed by Mournfang Brown, and then whatever bone you've got. So I'm still using bleach bone, although I desperately need to get ushabti or something like that. So I'll probably do that in the not too distant future. So yeah, we'll do that. Where's my tissue? Okay, so yeah, we'll start with the Rhinox hide. Now I did experiment with this a little bit. So the first one that I did, I mixed water in with it, and basically made sure this had a good coating all over with Rhinox hide. But then I figured earlier today, I tried out just like, obviously it's not a dry brush because it's wet, but you know what I mean, like a dry brush, wet brush type thing over the top. And actually that did fine. So I was worried that having the black showing through wouldn't look as good, but actually it ends up looking fine. I have got, let's see if I can check these goblins out. Got a brush in my mouth again. So one of these was done with the brown, like fully underneath, and one was done without it, but they're very similar. So as far as I'm concerned, it's not worth the time that it takes to let the brown with the brown dry that's got all the water mixed in. So I was pretty happy with that. So yeah, so I thought I'd try that earlier just to see what the best approach was, particularly for making these videos, because it takes ages for the paint to dry. So yeah, so this is this stage. Something that I am quite keen to try is squig hoppers. I've never really used squigs much in my Night Goblins armies, like hardly ever, because fanatics and shamans were just the best thing, and I imagine they probably still are, to be honest. But I mainly, my armies just used to consist of the smallest Night Goblin units I could take. So at the time that was 20 Night Goblins, 3 fanatics in each unit. I used to run my goblins with no upgrades. So it was literally 20 Night Goblins. Night Goblins are 3 points each, so it's literally just 60 points for 20 Night Goblins. And the fanatics are 25 points each, so the 3 fanatics cost more than the rest of the unit. And you can still run that. In fact, you can run 10 Night Goblins. So that's what, 30 points. And then the fanatics. So the fanatics are like over twice the cost of the unit. Now, whether I would do that, I don't know, because I feel like 10 fanatics probably won't get across the board to deliver their fanatics anyway. But essentially, you're creating APC units for your fanatics. They're literally just, yeah, APCs, fanatic delivery systems. So that was how I used to enjoy running my goblins. Not particularly like the most fun for your opponents. So it depends on whether you're trying to play like a fun game or trying to win something. If you particularly want to win, or if there's someone you want to put in their place, then loads of fanatics and shamans is certainly the way to go if you really want to, or certainly it was if you really want to destroy someone. But yeah, I mean, that's what goblins like, isn't it? A little bit of cheeky fun like that. All right, so that's the first layer. Rhinox side. Move these goblins out of the way. And then we'll go for Mournfang Brown. over the top. I don't know how well you can see that, but it looks pretty good. So this is just, yeah, the shine on the light makes it a little bit difficult to see. That's a bit better. Yeah, so that kind of obviously picks out all of the raised areas, gives it a nice textured look to it. I'm just going to go around the edges before I do on top. I do really like how movement trays turn out when you've put the extra effort in. Bases in general, I think you can paint models pretty ropey, very, very basic. They don't have to look great, but if you give your model, if you spend, like, it doesn't even have to be too long, like I'm not really spending too much time on them. This is basic, very basic kind of dry brushing technique. You don't have to spend too much time on the base, but if you put that little bit of extra effort in on the base, you can make poor models look awesome in a fully kind of ranked up army. So this is my top tip, is to take this approach, and this is the same approach as I use on modelled faces, so exactly the same thing as I've done on here. This was the Rhinox hide, then the Mournfang. We'll do this bone layer, and then we'll stick the grass on. We're obviously not going to do green around the edges because we've got sand around the edges. Right, we'll wash and brush. We'll do the bone layer now. Let's get some tissue. This needs to, well, yeah. I didn't clean the brush between the Rhinox hide and the brown, the Mournfang brown, mainly because I didn't really need to. But the bone gets much more sensitive than the Mournfang brown. So you can, I don't know, it just gets, I can't even think of the word. Infected is definitely not the right word. Contaminated, that's the word I was looking for. It gets, yeah, contaminated quite easy. So this is going to be a very light layer. So I really just don't want to put much pressure on, because I don't want to, I really don't want to go in any, ideally I don't want to go in any of the gaps, but anything we do go in, I'll just stick grass over. But yes, this is a very light touch, just over the top. Just like that. I'll just do that everywhere. I probably need to get some more out in a sec. Yeah, I think I'll probably do, I guess when I do the spearmen, I'll do their bases. And it'll be good to have, I'll probably do from start to finish with their bases, all the way through to grass, just as a bit of a, here's how to make your models look awesome without too much effort. So I think that'll be quite a good video to have. I'm sure that'll be helpful for a lot of people. So on here, I've got a bit too much concentration, so I'll be sticking grass over that. So grass, when you're doing bases, anything that looks a bit naff like that, you can stick grass over, and grass essentially becomes your Tipp-Ex. It's also quite helpful for helping you decide where to put your grass, because I'm not particularly imaginative. So I always struggle with knowing how to stick grass on a base without it looking the same every time. So having some imperfections when you've painted it is a good kind of guide as to where to stick your grass. At least that's the method that I use. So I've got a few bits where it doesn't look quite as good. That's where I'll be sticking grass, basically. There we go. Right, that's that done. Let's move on to the grass. Just dry my brush off. I love that you can see my shadow. Right, let's get some grass out. And some glue. Already got my glue on the base because I was just gluing. Oh yeah, I just glued the sand and the thing, didn't I? I forgot. Okay, so I'm going to, where will I start? Let's start here on this corner that looked a bit naff. I'm just going to extend it around a bit. So yeah, again, just the PVA on here. Let's chuck some grass on that now. Get that excess off. And I know the white's coming through there, but when it dries, you won't see any of that. It'll dry like this. I put the brush in my mouth again, so that was dumb. So yeah, so you can see this one on here, it's got the PVA showing through, but when it dries, the white disappears and it looks much more subtle. So this flock that I'm using is static grass, which you can get from model shops, Games Workshop, anywhere you fancy picking up your static grass from. This is grass that I got a very long time ago when I worked at Games Workshop. So I don't know what colours they sell these days. I feel like you could probably get a whole bunch of different colours, but this was the one. They only did one type back then, but I'm sure I've seen loads of different colours, whether Games Workshop does loads of different colours or just other model shops do them. But yeah, depending on what kind of theme you're going for, you can get different ones. And so just do the other side. Again, I'm just picking out the bits that I think look a little bit not quite up to scratch. Just that bit. Yeah, anything where I don't particularly want it left looking like that, that's where I'm sticking it. Yeah, I don't know if I should be like still sticking with 40 goblins. I don't know why I ever had 40, just because it was a nice size unit. It was two, here's what it was, it's because it was two of the 5x40, 5x4 movement trays stuck together, and that's why I went with 40. I had my iron breakers as well, running a unit of 40. But yeah, rightly or wrongly, it's just what it was. So I don't know what size I'll use now, but I think I'll probably still paint a unit of 40 for Grimcrack's warband. The way I see it, all of his lads who fight with spears just all band together in a unit. All of his guys who fight with bows all band together in a unit, and that's why they only have one unit of each in their warband. It's because they all just kind of like, I don't know, there's one boss in charge of the spear boys, one boss in charge of the arrow boys, and that's how they roll. And if you want to join it, well, I don't even know how you join a different warband as a goblin. You get kicked out maybe, I don't know. Just feels like a dodgy business trying to switch warbands. Maybe when you get defeated, or yeah, it's probably it. When you get defeated and run away in a fight, if a couple of different warbands are part of the war, you just run away with the boys that you fancy being a part of, maybe. Right, okay, so we've got our grass stuck on there. Let's get rid of this, move that out of the way. Yeah, so basically now what I tend to do is I will be blowing this. I don't really want to blow it this way, so that's where I've got my my keyboard and computer and stuff. I don't want grass all over it. And then what I tend to do is blow into the center. I don't know if this is working or doing much, but I'm blowing into the center of this in the hopes that that pushes the air out around the edges and causes the grass to stand up. So that's what we're doing. Give me a second and you'll hear some lovely blowing off screen. I don't really know how much that's doing, if anything, but that's the approach I'm taking. I feel like it's not doing a huge amount, but there we are, it makes me feel good. So that's that done. And why not, I'll stick these archers in it. Obviously the glue's not dried yet, so it looks a lot lighter than it will end up looking. It'll look a bit darker by the end. Let's turn it on. There we are. So that's how I do my bases, and I think I actually like that. I think they've come out really well. Yeah, if you want to upsize your Old World armies so that they fit with the new base sizes, head over to warbases.co.uk. Obviously that's if you're in the UK, otherwise you'll have to go elsewhere. But yeah, there you go, and just so that'd be useful for people to see, and hope that was helpful. All right, thanks for watching.